All right, let's talk about new Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Julio Jones, who, very well-known receiver, obviously the future Hall of Famer, has not necessarily had the best past couple of years. If you look at his Pro Football Focus grades year by year, you're going to see a lot of really impressive grades. I mean, a grade of basically 90 from all the way from 2014 to 2019. There was, one year there where it was an 89.8, but we'll round up there. As a whole, he's been, one of the best receivers to ever play the sport. However, since leaving Atlanta, even his last year in Atlanta, only, his snap count into 400s, only an 86.3 grade, which is still really good. But then in Tennessee and in Tampa Bay, the snap count stayed low, under 500 snaps each of the past 3 years, and the overall grade continuously went down, went to a 76.5 grade in 2021 and a 66 grade in 2022. Now again, PFF grades, not everyone's cup of tea. There's some debate on how accurate are these things, how good are these things. So let's watch some film. There were some flashes he showed in Tampa Bay. Week 1, I remember he actually made some real plays. Right off the bat, it was looking like it was really going to work out for the Buccaneers as you have Julio Jones running a go route on the outside. It will be a one-on-one matchup here. Watch as Tom Brady takes a snap. Hey, remember when Tom Brady played for the Buccaneers? That was cool. Anyway, going back over here, you have, not like a wide open window, but there is a window. Brady ended up making a really good throw, and Julio Jones made the catch. I mean, this is something that he is capable of doing, at least, right? Like, he showed these flashes, and perhaps for Philadelphia, he is someone who can bring this to the table to some degree. Listen, you're not bringing him in to be a number 1 receiver. You have A.J. Brown. You're not bringing him in to be a number 2 receiver. You have Devonta Smith. You're not even bringing him in to be a number 3 option. You have Dallas Goedert who can do that. You're just hoping to get some value from him, and he is capable of not just showing some value, but showing some legitimate splash plays and some legitimate, superstar level plays sometimes. Like, something like this, it's a little thing, but this might be more of what you're hoping to see from him if you're an Eagles fan. It's going to be man coverage against the Rams here, just running a quick slant route, right? Nothing too crazy. Brady takes a snap, he looks over, and Julio Jones, really good job of route running, right? Where he hasn't shown exactly where he's going to be cutting at this point. So the corner who's covering him, look at how much space he's giving Julio. At the end of the day, you don't get to Julio Jones's level over his career by just being physically talented. Like, you need more than that. You need to understand the mental side of things as well, and he does that. He is a great route runner, and as long as he's just athletic enough, he's still going to be a good enough route runner to just add value there. Watch as he does cut, he gets open, picks up a first down there on that 2nd down and 14. Again, I'm not saying he was doing this consistently or as consistently as he was doing in Atlanta or anything like that. It is worth mentioning, he did still add value when he was out there. Like, he wasn't a waste of a player for Tampa Bay when he was playing. In fact, I think the biggest issue for Tampa Bay was just his health, which of course is a real thing for Julio Jones. Like I said, under 500 snaps each of the last 3 years, and not all of those snaps he was playing at 100% as well. Maybe that's just luck, but given his age, you kind of wonder if it's just, it's just harder for him to stay healthy. But I also think about this play. This was Julio Jones' biggest play in a Buccaneers uniform, which isn't maybe saying a ton, but it's saying something. So the situation was huge. If you remember, Tampa Bay was down 16-3 with something like 4 minutes left in this football game. They come storming back. They get to this point where they're in the red zone down just 6. You have Julio Jones going on the outside, and it's quarters coverage, but there is, the corner who's supposed to be covering, quote unquote, the deep left, or I guess the deep right-hand corner of the screen. So offense is left, but our right. What he's going to be doing is, instead of just being further deep, he's playing press coverage, but will run deep with Julio when he goes further in that direction. That's oftentimes how you play this coverage, and there is a safety deep as well. Watch as you're going to see when this play begins, it's not really open. Brady's kind of just hoping that Julio can make something happen. And, I do think one other thing about Julio Jones is, while he has had maybe a notable drop or two, I'm sure Eagles fans can very, vividly remember one very notable drop that helped them win a Super Bowl, essentially. Maybe calling that play a drop is a bit harsh. It was a bit of a tough play, but, again, regardless, for the most part, Julio Jones is someone you can kind of just throw the ball up to and trust him to make a catch, which, again, when we're talking about depth players, there's a lot of value in that. As you see, that's what Brady does, and look at how Julio somehow finds a way to make this catch. We did see the flashes of the old Julio Jones. Like, it's hard to kind of view it as if he was someone who wasn't Julio Jones, if he was some, like, just, I don't know, if he's Joe Smith out there, right? Just some random name, not Julio Jones, and you're seeing him be able to do this stuff. You'd be like, wow, he made some good plays last year. Wasn't consistent enough, and he couldn't stay healthy. But hey, there's some potential here, right? Some potential with an older Julio Jones. So at the end of the day, I always kind of like these moves. I do. Like, at the end of the, I just feel like getting an undrafted free agent off the street, or going with someone just because they're younger, for where Philadelphia is at right now, doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I think go after a player who you feel like can legitimately be a real, help to your offense, even if it's just in a depth role. Still makes sense to me. Right here, this is the Philadelphia Eagles, all their wide receivers and their PFF grades for this season. You see, at the bottom is Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. Smith hasn't had the best start to the season, but that's going to turn around. He's very good. It's been, 6 games? He's going to be better than just 64th out of 113 receivers. But it would be worth mentioning that Julio Jones' grade last year would be the second best on the Philadelphia Eagles roster as of right now. And I think you can still feel solid about it being potentially the third best once Smith gets better. A.J. Brown's been amazing so far. We expect that from him. There have been some weaknesses, in this wide receiver room for Philadelphia when it comes to depth. Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus are two players who are really at their best just role players and not necessarily guys who you're trusting to be a number 3 receiver. You have some unproven guys, Joseph Ngata, you have Devin Allen and Greg Ward as the other two players who are currently on the roster right now. Also, Britton Convoy, have to mention him as well. But Julio Jones does feel like he's someone who could potentially bring something to the table for Philadelphia. Also, looking at the contract details, I'll be honest, I didn't fully realize you could sign a contract for as low as he signed it for. It's currently looking at an overall cap hit of under $250,000. Like, that's an absurd low amount that he's looking at right here. Again, he's 34 years old. What are we expecting from Julio Jones? But you know what? He could just simply bring experience to the locker room and be a good depth player. And you know what? If he does what he did for Tampa Bay last year, for that contract, it's not just a win, it's a steal. You don't expect anything from that contract other than just a warm body to, throw out there if you need to. But that's not what he's going to do. I do think he still has a little bit there. Again, I think the other aspect is, is he going to still do what he did for Tampa Bay last year? He is a year older, and like we said, there is kind of that downward slope of, had a lower year his last year in Atlanta, and then took a step back his 1 year in Tennessee, and then took another step back his 1 year in Tampa Bay. Is he going to take another step back now that he's going to a new offense? That's totally possible, but again, the way that this could be a bad contract is basically zero. Like, if you cut him tomorrow, it's not hurting you at all. Like, your Super Bowl odds are the exact same. It really is a, to me, relatively high reward type move with basically no risk. So I like it from Philadelphia's perspective. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.